Hello Games No Man's Sky is a bit of an odd game with an even odder community. After the great disaster that was the launch of the game back in August 2016, neither the developers nor the community gave up on the idea of a fantastical spacefaring adventure like they were promised. A rare occurrence then in the cutthroat video games industry where consumers are always hungering for the next big blockbuster game. Regardless of its likelihood, the result is a somewhat steadily improving title, led by player feedback, even if the developers still stay mostly silent when it comes to day-to-day interaction. With No Man's Sky version 1.4 or 1.5, numbering chronologically seems to be a fad of the past, hopefully around the corner, I thought I would add my voice into the conversation about what No Man's Sky needs to change. To start, let's take a look at how we got here. The original game shipped with many features lacking, and left many feeling cheated of their money and hype. To help counteract this, Hello Games quickly started work on updating the game in order to properly fulfill the stunning potential a game like this holds. The first update focused on fixing some of the core issues with the launch game, as well as rudimentary base building. It acted as the foundation for things to come, and to more importantly, show the world that Hello Games wasn't giving up after the launch debacle. The second update, the Pathfinder update, gave players vehicles and improved base building, as well as further tweaks to ships and the barest hint of multiplayer with base sharing. The most recent and by far the most additive of all the updates, Atlas Rises, was heralded by a complex ARG filled with lore and secrets about the game. The update included basic multiplayer to be improved upon further, a storyline, and improved graphical fidelity. However, none of these really fix the core issue with No Man's Sky that has been present from launch. The game lacks exploration in the true sense. There's no big, bold set pieces for the player to trek towards, no blips in the bland terrain sameness, no towering alien constructs or sheer cliffs with precarious edges. The closest the game gets to these landmarks are the big mineral deposits, but who gets excited for those? Having an infinite amount of tree types and flowers and little cute dog aliens is cool, but if they aren't arranged in a way that promotes exploration, then they once more will blur into the background as just another hurdle to cross while making your way to a lump of plutonium. Imagine jetting across a ravine filled with deadly lava on your way to a distant billowing volcano, knowing that that volcano is the source of the ultra-tough metals you seek. Or how about stumbling across a serene waterfall, the only location of a rare and deadly amphibious species? These ideas seem almost impossible to effectively put in an algorithm-driven game. However, seeds of each of these ideas have already been planted, with ruined buildings offering danger for the chance of reward, temperate-specific materials spread out across different climates, and lots of goodies to be found in the trading posts and shelters the universe smatters across all its planets. The difference between what is current and the ideas proposed here is that none of the currently implemented versions have any sense of real player involvement. There's no active discovery or player agency. Most of them are marked down as a marker to follow, operating as fetch quests, and a good example of what not to do in an open world. A perfect case study on what you should do in an open world is the critically acclaimed and now Game of the Year winning Zelda Breath of the Wild. Released in 2017 on both the Wii U and the Switch, Breath of the Wild stands out as one of Nintendo's instant classics, rightfully earning its spot on many people's favourite Game of the Year and maybe even the decade. In theory, Zelda's open world is much like No Man's Sky's. It has a gorgeous artistic art style with large vistas and the same sense of being a stranger in a strange land. However, Nintendo's focused vision for moment-to-moment gameplay is both effective and less cluttered. Shrines, core exceed puzzles, and monster camps take up the bulk of the game time, and although the game has many more things you can do, these are arguably what the game wants you to be doing the most. This symbiotic relationship the gameplay has with the open world exploration is one of Zelda's triumphs, and it reinterprets every encounter you have with the game, prioritizing curiosity and agency above all else. In contrast, let's examine No Man's Sky's core gameplay loop. You've got resource gathering, side quests, base building, upgrading your ship, multi-tool and exosuit, scanning creatures, plants and buildings, and exploring new planets. A lot more than Zelda's, however, this isn't really a problem on its own. The real issue is how these are contextualized in the game. All of these gameplay elements are defined by the need to earn more money, which allows you to experience more of the gameplay, which nets you more wealth, which lets you do more, etc, etc. This loop is a large factor of why the game feels samey. Your objective is never defined by the planets you stand on. If anything, they just get in the way of the real objective, gaining the most wealth. It has a lack of focus on the game's key selling point. Grinding for resources and credits just doesn't feel the same as exploring to find secrets and new discoveries. The whole progression loop feels half-finished, and something that would be released in a beta for testing mechanics. The best thing for the game to do to fix this issue is to not put as much emphasis on earning money and make the exploration define the loop like Breath of the Wild. Keep wealth earning rewarding and viable for all those crazy Scrooge McDucks of the world, but make sure it no longer drives every facet of the game and is now more a part of the game's main idea of simulating a universe. I hope I haven't come across as too naggy or cynical. I'm in a bit of a weird situation with the game right now. Think of this video as a bit of tough love, and my perhaps naive thought that maybe, just maybe, Hello Games took a look at Breath of the Wild and learned from its successes. But until then, I'll have to be content with the No Man's Sky I have, and while it might not be the best game in the world, at least it's fun to play while listening to a podcast. Thanks to everyone who commented and upvoted on my original post, and for checking out this crazy convoluted mess of a video. Hopefully it rang true for you all, and further inspires Hello Games to continue working towards making No Man's Sky the game we all see it could be.